Okay, so welcome to another episode of the Chakra Way Meditation Podcast. And today I am joined by my lovely guest, Bill Heinrich. Hi, Bill.
Hi.
So, Bill, you've got a really interesting thing that you do. So I'm going to just let you explain what you do because you don't necessarily have a title. I pushed you for one, I couldn't get one. So tell me what you do and tell everyone what you do.
Yeah, in the day-to-day world, I'm a executive coach. I work with CEOs and executives, and I've been doing that for 15 years. However, everything I do is metaphysical, so I bring just a totally different approach to it. And let me back up. Almost 30 years ago, I walked away from my life. I was so miserable, I couldn't take it anymore. I can smile about it now, but at the time, it was like, wow, what has happened? And I went and just gutted myself and learned to live life all over again. And the first thing in my quest in understanding all the things I was angry about, the church and on and on and on, was okay. I just wanted to live free. I wanted to be able to make my own choices.
Mm.
And I wandered for and I really gutted myself, man. But I wandered for about 6 months, and then somebody one day gave me Deepak Chopra's Seven Spiritual Laws of Success. And I was like, he just, hey, I don't know. I didn't even really know the guy. But, anyways, I read it and I went, wow, this is interesting. Like, the first law is that we're pure potential. I'm like, well, that's cool. Like, I like being pure potential, right? And what he basically goes through are the seven universal laws in his way of describing it. But I was looking, there's no doctrine. This is all free will and choice. I get to choose which aspect. And in looking at it, if I followed every one of them, I would be living at a level in any church that would be above and beyond anything any of the churches might ask of you. It's kind of the irony of it, right? Because you come from a place of love and so on and so forth. But
Yeah.
anyway, I just did more research, learned more about myself, learned that I was an energetic empath, learned all kinds of things. Then one day I learned about our divine gifts, and I just had this boom knowledge opened up about our divinity and what our divine gifts are. We have seven of them. It's an energetic value that flows through our chakras: divine compassion, divine creation, divine order, divine healing, divine authentic self-expression, divine truth, and divine power. We each have all seven of those, but we have them in different proportions.
Mm.
And I just knew all about them. I understood them completely when I heard about them. It was really weird. I was at a soul reclamation seminar of a friend of mine when she brought those up at the beginning, and I've just been working with them ever since. So, and then that's led me kind of where I am today. I'm really just I have such a clear understanding of the two different dimensions we live in. One's the vibration we really want to be at. Everything's a vibration. When you live life from that place,
Mm.
it makes it really simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And so many of us are not able to make that leap. I mean, it takes a ridiculous amount of courage to do what you did and just leave your life and just go, do you know what? I'm unhappy.
Well,
I'm
actually, I'm going to correct you
oh,
because
okay.
what it really took was a tremendous amount of unwillingness
Unwillingness.
to live that way one more day.
Mm. Yeah.
Courage was a is a this was like, I'm not going to off myself. I'm just like, screw it. And I literally went and changed everything but my name.
Wow.
So, but it's unwilling to live that way one moment, one breath longer.
And but I think that there's a lot of people who live their lives on this day-to-day basis, going, this is kind of, I don't know, mundane, boring, samey. It's tedious. There's no joy, there's no happiness.
You're in the
Um,
99 percentile. Yeah.
but people don't feel that they have the resources to change. They think, well, how, how would I change? How
Is
can
it
I grow?
is is it that, or is it that they found a level of comfort in survival? They know there could be more, but they also know what they have.
I think I think my take on that is that I think people are very afraid of change, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
the situation has to be so bad. It's kind of like
Hmm.
leaving a
Hmm.
marriage that's kind of okay, but not really. It's like the situation has to be so bad that staying seems worse than leaving. So,
Hmm.
if that, but very few people reach that stage with their lives as a whole, with where
Hmm.
they are. So
Hmm.
you, being the energetic empath that you obviously are, your soul's calling, your soul's path was like screaming at you. And I mean,
Oh,
how did that manifest? I'm just interested to know how that screaming of the soul kind of manifested in your life, other than, because most people just hit the bottle or just get depressed, or I don't know. How did it manifest that
oh, I quit in the fifth grade,
in the fifth grade? I don't know what age is that.
uh, 10,
Okay.
and I was in the Catholic Church. I knew I was going to purgatory for X number of years. I knew I was going to hell after that. I couldn't seem to do anything right, and life didn't make sense to me. It just never made sense to me. I thought I was like, wow, and literally, I just said, well, if I'm going to go to hell, I'm going to have fun on the way there, and literally, and I just rebelled, and off I went. Literally, my grades went in the whole, Uh, it was actually very sad. There nobody knew what to do with me,
Yeah.
and I wasn't a bad guy. I wasn't fighting. I wasn't angry. Actually, I use humor. I'm very funny. I've stopped using humor because I used to hide behind it. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But
yeah,
your soul obviously was like, it was yearning for that thing that then resonated when you picked up Deepak Chopra's book. That thing just like hit you between the eyes. It's like, oh, well,
it
this is so goddamn obvious.
it
Jesus,
was.
why hadn't anybody told me about this before? I guess that's where you came from.
It's been one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt that one wants to put all of their focus on their energy and how you connect with universal resources. We
Mm.
are part of that universal resource. Life in the physical is a distraction. And when you can understand the difference between wants, needs, and desires and start living with conscious awareness, you can participate. I teach people there is a heaven and hell. I know that for certain, but it's here on earth. And you can literally live in heaven on earth
Yeah.
when you understand the non-physical. Because what's happening in the physical is going to happen. There's only one thing wrong with the universe I've found in all these years of study. You know what that is?
Oh,
It's your perception of it.
yeah, absolutely.
It's the only thing wrong with it.
Mm.
The universe has to deliver anything that you desire as long as you can communicate that you have the energetic foundation to support it. It will give it to you like that.
Yeah.
Yet we're the ones that block it,
Yeah.
We
Oh,
can have anything
absolutely.
we.
I mean, we've got so many layers of crap to work through before we get to that, because we've got all this conditioning and all the various traumas and so on that we've been through in our lives. So listen, I want to get to our
I want to
purpose.
go to those traumas for a second, though.
Oh, okay, go for it. Go
You
for it.
were going to ask me about purpose.
I am.
Okay. So I'm going to answer it talking about traumas.
Perfect.
How's that?
Perfect.
Because what you're referring to as traumas are actually things that helped us survive. we came into life perfect. We went through this massive energetic reduction into the state of limitation, came out of the womb, somebody slapped our ass, and everything went downhill from there. It just, that's life, right? No, you can't do this, you can't have that, don't do this, you know, that's life. It's all about survival. And when you understand we all have life lessons, there's no question about that. There's 38 different life lessons passed. Everybody has this on one of them. And what that means is we have lessons to learn. And when we have lessons to learn, that means there's something we don't know. And when we don't know it, we have a blind spot. This is what causes the interruption and disruption in our life. These are part of what you're referring to as the trauma. It's not trauma. It's somebody who learned to live in survival in a particular environment, who now understands that the things they learned really didn't support them to be all of who they can be. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I would. I mean, I
So
think there, yeah.
when we start looking at it energetically, forget the story, just know the energy. And when the energy comes, you can change that story instantly. You can say, wow, I I hate it when people are upset with me. You can say, you know, I'm going to step more into a peacemaking mode. You can change that energy instantly. And you'll see the instant energetic effect of you stepping into your power, rather than putting your focus on the fear of the pain, which is only going to cause more fear of the pain. Right?
Yeah.
So, and it's those lessons, everyone that you go in, you don't get rid of them. You just go in and love them and say, thank you. But I don't need you anymore. I'm good now. But thank you. And when it comes up, you just thank it. And they kind of wither away. They just kind of wither away. But as they wither, what shows up? You're creating more space for energy. And if you're reducing the negativity and the energetic vibration that used to hold you back, and that's getting smaller, your energy of your purpose is what's showing up. It's filling that space.
Okay. I love that. That's a really, I mean, it's clearly working with the universal energy rather than against it. And I think a lot of us, we work, a lot of people work, you know, they fight it, they fight and they fight, and they go, why me? And why do all these things happen to me? And, you know, why
because
do I get...
there's only two emotions. There's only two.
Really?
Just two.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. There's love and there's fear.
Yeah. And everything else is played between that, isn't it, really? Yeah.
Everything stems from those two emotions. Now, listen to this. Listen to this. If you want to have more control over your life, the only time that you can create fear is when you're focusing on the physical. It's impossible to create fear in the non-physical. It's impossible to sit and meditate and create fear. Okay? You can be in fear, but it'll subside as you breathe and you go into your meditation. They can't stay in the same place. So anytime there's fear, there's fear of loss of something in the physical.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that's because your head, your mind, can only resource the past. Your ego is only here to protect you. And it controls your logic. So it's all about, that's the best you can get out of the physical. When you go to the non-physical, now we connect with something called love. As you connect with that love, we've learned the more you give, the more you get. So you get a very simple choice. Do you want to be in fear, or do you want to be in love? Because whatever you're afraid of, whatever, something's going to happen, but your energy of fear isn't going to do anything to aid the situation. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
So you say, well, I'm just going to be in a place of love. And like just now I have plans I go to Vermont for the summer, and I've just called and learned that I live in an RV, that I can't have the space I've been renting every summer back there this summer. So it's like, oh, okay. Good. Something better is going to show up. Like, we're just going to create something better, right? It's like, I'm not going to hang it, I had a long talk with them because I'd been there for 2 seasons, and they said, no, it's just that this is the way it is right now. Okay. We'll see what happens. What I'm really going to do is get to have them create a space for me. I'll do that energetically, right? I'll manifest that energetically by loving them and thanking them and letting them know how much I love being there. And just that energy goes right to them. Or those bastards, did they change it,
Yeah, the likelihood of them changing their minds on that level of energy is 0 to less. Yeah, you're absolutely.
Yeah.
And so
Did I
you,
answer your question about purpose, by the
yeah,
way?
yeah, yeah. Please do. Yes.
Or did I'm asking. I
Oh,
heard
sorry,
you.
did you? I thought you were going to go more into purpose.
Okay.
Um, yes, you have. I mean, the way that you're talking is lovely. It's so beautiful because it encompasses this. It's a big umbrella of how to approach life, of what
Mm-hmm.
is actually genuinely important. And I find that really is it's heartwarming. It's fulfilling, because knowing that, because it's so beautifully simple, the way you put it, so succinct, so
It's
simple, that as a way to live life, it feels so obvious and clear and beautiful. It's like, crystal water. It's just delicious.
well,
Um,
all of this out there is confusing. It's just so confusing. And do you know there's only one thing in life that's true? There's only one thing.
okay.
That's it.
What?
It's how you feel. That's the only thing that's true. The story that causes the feeling, because you can't have a feeling without a story.
Mm-hmm.
The story that causes it isn't even true, because
Mm.
you can't have a perfect recollection. But how you feel is true. And if you're feeling in fear, you're in a story that doesn't support you anymore. If you're feeling angry, why? What's the story that was going to make you angry? Let's let go of that. Let's just write a new story.
Mm. Yeah,
It's
I
the
mean,
only it's the only path to clarity for anyone. Period. It's the only way we can connect. Because like we can connect, we can go to sadness, and just like I can get into some pretty deep sadness. I'm not afraid of it. I'm very familiar with it. But you understand sadness. You may not understand my story, but you'll understand how I feel.
yeah. And I'm just trying to think where I want to take this, because whilst I love this overarching way of looking at life, when people are like, I feel purposeless, I need to find my purpose, I know it's out there somewhere and I don't know what it is, I feel like I could do this or I could do that. So you're in coaching mode. I mean, you teach people how to be divinely happy, how to live their best lives. So apart from telling them this beautiful simple truth, which is sounds so, it's perfectly formed, but then there's so many other things in life that come up against it, and pepper it with doubt and pepper it with, oh, impossible, this, that, and the other. So
This well,
what are your
the
modalities in taking people to
the
embody
the
this
only place the
sense?
only place there can be doubt is in your mind.
Of course, yeah.
And when you consider for a moment how tight the boundaries are of our ignorance, we live in such tight boundaries of ignorance. There's so much more to understand. Every person is different, but the difference with every person, their purpose, your purpose, is not what you do. We do not care what appears in the physical. All we care about is the energy that we put forth behind every thought, word, and action. And it's that energy that creates our purpose.
Okay. Yeah.
And
So
it's all about how you feel. It has nothing to do with anyone else. And the more you feel and understand your purpose, the more you become a magnet, because people can resist you intellectually, protect their stories, but they can't block the energy. It's impossible. Energy is just energy. So listen, I see this all the time. Like, I can walk in a room and just take a room over without even speaking.
Yeah.
And then people just want to know who I am. They come up to me. It's just energetic power. It's just being me. And you know what they're seeing? They aren't seeing me. They're seeing the missing part of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. They're seeing the bit of them that it's that thing about with your, partner, your best friend or whatever. That's always the thing that winds you up most about them is the thing that's within you. And it's also the same thing with attraction. You're attracted to the people who fulfill the gaps that you have in your life. And
Yeah.
I know I do that. I'm always
Yeah.
attracted to those people with that energy that just, but in the same way that it's simply, it's obvious because it's that you want the completion from somebody else, which is in itself pretty unhealthy. But that's my story. That's my
Yes, but let's flip that. Let's flip it to a place of observation. Like, this is really interesting. I have this gap. How are they experiencing and expressing that? Why does that feel good to me? Have the experience, you
Yeah.
see, and it's okay. But when you're afraid to look at, I think you refer to it as trauma, which, like, don't anymore. Those are gold mines. If you go back to those gold mines and just love them, they'll hand you chunks of gold, and because it just frees you to complete freedom.
Yeah. But in the same way, like changing, and I'm just sort of battling you here a little bit in that, because I
Bring it
know I
on.
come across and it's not that I'm disagreeing with you in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I don't, because that's my stuff too. I love energy and connecting with energy and bringing the best out of your energy within yourself is the only way to find contentment and happiness within the self. But there are people in this world, and you know them and I know them, who go around saying everything's shit, and nothing's ever going to get better. And you can explain all of this to them, and they're like, oh, but that's not going to pay the rent. They so how do you not combat, but how do you get through to how do you use your work to get through to those people? Because you work in corporate America,
I
so you must come
Okay.
across quite a
I
few
can
people.
okay. I can tell you right now, very simply, I don't.
Okay.
Like, these people, in fact, are correct in what they're doing. They're right. It's their choice. They're right. They choose to live that way.
Okay.
And when there's no opening, I just want to love them for who they are.
Okay.
And it's in my loving them for who they are that attracts other people to me. But if you come to me and you get in front of me and you hiccup, I kick you off the bus, because you either have to get this or not. You have to get the energetic value of it or not, because once you do, you're free. You can go play and do things. It's just so much fun. But when there's resistance, it's like, no, I'm not here to convince you. It's like, no, you just No, go do that when you're done. If you want to talk to me, that's
Yeah.
cool. Like I give 100% money back guarantee um, in all of my coaching programs to anybody that comes in. The guarantees for me though, because it's like if we get 2 or 3 sessions in, if I'm not sure, I want to give them a bit more of a chance because something could click quickly because I move so much energy. But if it isn't happening, then it's like, look, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Here's why. And I apologize to them. I say, I didn't scan you. Like, I take full responsibility. And I give them back their money. I have no problem with that at all. Otherwise, if they stayed, I'd make their life so miserable it'd be crazy because
Yeah.
they're gonna if you're gonna hang on to a story, you don't want to be around me because stories control your life.
Yeah. Yeah. The
I'm
stories we
writing
tell
a new
ourselves.
I'm writing a new story right now with you. It's
Mm,
always just writing. Let's just see where the story goes. Let all of that.
yeah.
Let's just live to our fullest.
I love that.
And
Uh,
that's the best you can get, you know. I mean, really,
yeah.
it really isn't about happiness. It's really more about uh self-love and contentment.
And that, I mean, this is, it's, I find it interesting because obviously I'm kind of in my mind's eye trying to sort of put your, imagine how you work because I can't, I'm trying to sort of find my way as like how you work. Like you're obviously a really good communicator. You obviously have great energy and um belief in what you do. But I know that when I try and teach this to my clients, or when I'm teaching my clients, I use lots of various modalities. I use the chakras because they give you this very nice, neat map of where your energy
Mm.
lives, what type of energy lives where in your
Yeah.
body, all of that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And so I like to have that, simple soul that I am. I like to have that kind of laid out.
Yeah.
It gives you a
And
nice sort of guided way to go through.
I work differently. I All of my work is done in the physical.
Okay.
So it's all in the physical. So the first thing I do with a client is we go through what I call an empowerment assessment. I take them through a process with something I developed called the challenge wheel, find out everything standing in their way, blocking them and holding them back energetically, what's happening. And what they get from that is this picture of the mushroom cloud of the little anger that they have about Aunt Rosie from 4 years ago, how it just spills out into every area of their life. They just start seeing. Once we have that, the next thing I do is we get in and I'm able to give a person their spiritual DNA of the 7 divine gifts, what percentages, but I only give them 3 because that makes up about 70%. That's plenty of energy to work with, believe me.
Mm.
And when they get that, boom, because the the energy, when you don't understand it, comes out dysfunctionally. This is what's happening to everybody right now, myself included. Okay. Um, because I'm not, monitoring or whatever. But if you're not flowing the energy in the way that it's intended, it comes out dysfunctionally.
Okay.
And when we look at their divine powers, their divine gifts, we have a large one, a middle one, a smaller one. We only look at the dysfunctions. So, and I'll give you an example. Divine order is one of the uh, energies. Somebody with divine order, if you just imagine there's duality in the universe, of course, right?
Yeah.
So, so we have to look at both sides of order. And here we have perfection, and here we have chaos,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, someone with divine order is living somewhere in that sphere, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, because this is an energetic value, they're so sensitive to energy of confrontation. It's like an eggshell being cracked in a confrontation. They don't realize this. They think they're thinking it. Like they don't like it. They know they don't like it, and they boom, they're out of there, and they hate it if people are upset with them. Yet when they understand the energy, It's an energy of harmony, balance, love, teaching. If when that happens, that confrontation, if they step into it understanding this energy, the whole situation melts like, snow in Phoenix, Arizona in the
Yeah.
summer, just gone
Yeah.
energetically, because that's the
Yeah.
power we hold.
Yeah.
So, where was I going with all of this?
I wish I do not know, Bill. I just know that I love I love the way you're approaching this, because it feels the message that I'm getting from you is that with this simple mind shift and this knowledge that you have everything that you need. I mean, that's what I was getting from
It's
the
not a
thing.
mind shift, it's an awareness.
Okay, yeah, an awareness. Well, I mean, mind shift awareness. I guess that's a taking on of things. But yeah, with this awareness.
My mind shift is the state of the ego taking control. Awareness is a knowing.
Yeah,
You feel the difference in those two? The
absolutely.
energetic difference?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. I know
There's
it.
so many words in the English
I
language
know.
that only speak to the non-physical,
Yeah.
and what's a word that speaks to the non-physical? I'll show you very simply. We have money.
Mhm.
Does that speak to the physical or non-physical?
Physical, I would have
Of
thought.
course. We have abundance. We don't know what abundance looks like.
You can't go and buy abundance, can you? Unfortunately.
We can feel love, but we don't know. We have no idea what any of these things look like in the physical. Do
Yeah.
you know why? Because the energy behind them manifests this special moment.
Yeah,
And we've all experienced that.
it's true. I love that. I kind of want more of those words now. Obviously, love and abundance. That these things,
Yeah.
physical. Those are
Well,
really beautiful way of thinking. I love the
two
English
things.
language. Language is always so fascinating with
Well,
energy, with energetic work.
two things real quick. I have a book. This is on Amazon. It's called The Seven Levels of Truth. It's a direct path to your life purpose. Everything that I use in my coaching business is in this book.
Beautiful.
So, and it's the Seven Levels of Truth. It's on Amazon. I have another book called Clarity Has No Story. And it's a shaman's guide to mastering the law of attraction. And that is about language. And anyone listening to the show can get a free copy at myfreebook.me.
Okay.
My
We'll
free
put
book.
those links in the show notes for
Yeah,
sure.
.me. Yeah.
The book on Amazon, the free link. And do you have a website where you've got all of your bits and pieces, your contact details?
True life purpose now. TrueLifePurposeNow.com. Yeah.
Well, I will put that in the show notes. Bill, you've given me so much to think about. I feel like I'm going to want to go back and listen to our conversation again, because I feel like you dropped in so many big fat nuggets of just truth there, just boom, 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 and it's
Yeah, just
really fantastic.
1,000% truth. When you're speaking about vibration, then one can speak truth.
Mm,
When
yeah.
you're speaking about perception, it's impossible.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
But that's what's so powerful about vibration. Like somebody, can come up and say whatever, but I'm always getting the story behind the words. That's what I'm after. Then you really see what's going on.
And you've been doing this a while. You've been, observing people, helping people make this
It's
game.
really simple once you understand energy, and energy is
Oh,
all there is in the universe. That's all there is.
that's
Everything's
all there
energy.
is. I know.
I mean, you look at how ridiculous it is that everybody doesn't understand what I teach. It's ridiculous. The entire universe is energy. We're energy. We come from nothing. We go to nothing. We're only here for a short period of time. We have lessons to learn. And all of our are in the non-physical.
Yeah. Hmm. just have one quick question before I let you go. Spirit, where do you stand? I mean, I'm just delving into what could be a massive wormhole here, because I know you
Let's
mentioned earlier
do
that
it.
you're into religion, but your religious upbringing was obviously some, where do you stand on spirit? Like, when we die, our spirit leaves it, because we are energy. So where
So,
does our energy go? I just have that quick question, just
okay,
snap out a quick answer for
let
me.
me, in this, you mentioned a religion, and my position on that now is, on religion is for people who don't want to go to hell. Spirituality is for people who've already been there, is the way I see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, we come from pure energy, and when we transition, and I've been with 7 or 8 people that while they transition, when they transition,
Mm.
they leave the milk carton behind. There's just a carcass.
Yeah,
It's like an empty milk package. I call it whatever you want,
yeah,
right? And the energy leaves. So where does it come from and where does it go? I have no idea. However, I do know we should probably reverse the process, and when they're born, have the wake, and when they leave, have the celebration, because we go back. We're free of all of this limitation,
yeah, yeah,
and there's talk of soul families, all sorts of things. Something's going on here because we've come with specific lessons. There's no question in my mind about it. That's what we're here to learn. The more you study metaphysics and what's happening in the universe, it's so obvious, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
It's so obvious that all the rest of this is a distraction,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah,
So I don't know. I'm just concerned with the quality and the ability for people to really get this pure enjoyment, energetic enjoyment from being here on earth while we're here, getting the most out of it from that standpoint. And, getting out of most people are just trying to get to death safely. It's just,
yeah,
right. Let me just make sure I can get there safely.
yeah. And with as
And
many
some of it,
things as possible, quite often.
yeah, we did, many years ago, a few years ago, did this recording with Bob Proctor. In fact, it's on YouTube under Wisdom Films, Wisdom of the World. We recorded all these different gurus. But Bob Proctor said something in this recording that I'll never forget. He said, "The day you die, everything you have is going to go to someone else. But everything you are will stay with you forever."
Mm,
And that defines the difference of the spirit.
yeah. And I think that's also a very good directive to people to gain the awareness of what that energetic self, that imprint that you're going to leave on your energy that you're living with in your milk carton or your meat suit, as some people call
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
very good incentive, if you like, to make people understand what is actually important, which will bring them around energetically to what you're talking about and to their purpose.
And the answers are so obvious. Like, you no one will ever remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
Hello, that's a vibration. That's because that's a truth we both know.
Yeah.
We're sharing a vibration that's common to both of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, lots of such good stuff, Bill. Thank you for today. I'm
Yeah,
really
thank you.
grateful. It's been brilliant talking to you.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.